Alright, this is my 2004 Duramax LLY. In this video we're taking all the IFS out, swapping a nice strong Dana 60 into the front with some King coilovers on a WFO kit. Make sure you make it to the end to see how this thing turns out and enjoy the video. This is everything I'm going to need to throw this Dana 60 under my 2004 LLY Duramax. We've got upper and lower links, we've got frame plates, we've got resi mounts, track bar brackets, lower shock brackets, conversion brake lines, ABS pigtails, drag link, track bar, coilover buckets. We've got a steering box brace, we've got King coilovers, 10 inches of travel. We've got the cross member / transmission brace. This is everything we're gonna need to put this axle under that Duramax. This is the 2006 F250 Dana 60 front axle with the radius arms. We're gonna start getting this axle stripped down, prepped to go under that truck. I'm gonna take all the brackets we don't need off. I'm gonna take sway bar off, take the tie rod off, drag link off. We're pretty much gonna take off anything we're not gonna use in the Duramax. So yeah, let's get straight into prepping this axle. We're gonna start by taking off this tie rod and drag link. And then we're pretty much just gonna strip everything on this side and then do the same thing on the other side. Oh, there's a spider on here. Get out of here. Whoa. Jumper. All right, we're gonna strip down everything on here. We're gonna take this tie rod off, we're gonna take this drag link off, take this sway bar off, and take the old coil buckets out, because we are going to be exchanging these for some shock mounts. All right, let's get right into just stripping all this. I really need to learn to grab the tools I need before I start. There it goes. All right. There's the drag link. Let's bet on one tap. Ready? Oh, not one. All right, I guess we're flipping it over and working on it on the ground. All right, now it's on the ground and we can do the rest of the work to it. Came out pretty easy again. We got the axle pretty stripped down. I'm gonna start coming over it with a wire brush and getting it cleaned up a little bit and ready to go under the truck. All right, I'm waiting on instructions from WFO on where to put the track bar mounts on the axle. But for now, I got the truck pulled up onto the lift. We're gonna start unbolting stuff under here. Pretty much gonna unbolt as little as possible and try to drop it out in one solid go. Not sure how that's gonna work out, but we'll try it. See the rock lights that I completely abandoned. Part of the reason I'm getting new fender liner is I don't want a bunch of holes in that one. So I'm gonna get a fresh one. I'm probably just gonna put one rock light right here to kind of show off the Kings, and the rest are just gonna be under the truck because I use rock lights what they're meant for, and I don't really care to show off every bit of my suspension. Just one over the Kings should be good enough. I'm gonna pull off this skid plate, drain the diff fluid, and then yeah, we'll get to the next part. Hopefully I don't get all this all over me. Boom, let's go. Ooh. Ho ho ho. Holy, look at this. There's all kinds of metal in there. Look at all that metal on there. A good thing I'm getting rid of this because this thing was probably cooked. I honestly don't think this thing would have lasted much longer. But we're not going to tell people on Marketplace that. We're going to tell them that this truck had very low miles because it does. All right, now I'm getting this four-wheel drive actuator out because we can actually reuse this to keep all the lights off the dash. It bolts up into the steering brace. Holy crap. This thing's long-winded. Yeah, I'm gonna put this away somewhere where I'm not gonna forget it. And then we will continue pulling stuff out of here. I'm gonna put these lower shock mounts on, but they're gonna have to be welded all the way around. So we're gonna grind down this surface. Got to get this brake line off right here and plug it with the little plug that they supplied in the kit. I'm just gonna put this in my mouth until I need it. But yeah, here we go. This might be a little entertaining. All right, not too bad there. Now we're getting this sway bar unbolted. Just kidding. It's 210 mils. All right, I got a little carried away. Forgot to start filming, but got the torsion bar bolts out. Now we got this tool right here that'll take out. Yep, there's the pin right there. Yeah, it'll take out these torsion bars. Okay, I don't feel like pounding these torsion bars out, and I'm obviously never going to use them, so we're just going to unbolt them and pull them all the way out. Alright, now we're just getting this upper control arm unbolted. Out. So here's the four-wheel drive vacuum actuator nipple that came off the knuckle of the 06 axle. We're not going to be using this anymore, and there were supposed to be plugs in the kit, but they never came, so we're just going to modify this. So just in case you guys are in the same predicament, we got, just going to clamp that in there. You can kind of see, let's see if you can see that. See, you can see daylight through there. You can see the wall through there. There's a little pinhole in there to let the vacuum do its thing. So I'm just gonna plug that hole with a weld real quick. All right, that's gonna be nice and hot when you pick it up. Be careful. Put it back down in the vise and grind that off. And just like that, you got a custom plug. This is the plug, you just plug it right back in there. All right, that's in there nice and tight. All right, real quick, because I have to go. Today we got done all this, got all the IFS off taken off. The axle all painted, got the track bar mount in right there, got the shock, the coilover mounts right there and right there. Got it all painted up all nice. Got the drag link and the track bar all painted. We've got the uppers and the lower links all painted. We've got this side. Just needs these mounts cut off. I already cut the mount off down there and cut the cross brace off. And then on this side, we've pretty much got it all ground down. I just gotta clean all that up, weld that frame plate on, and then put the shock hoop in. And then yeah, then we're gonna be rolling. After that though, that's the easy part, which is just gonna be putting in the cross member, putting in that, mounting these, hanging the links, linking to the axle. So yeah, hopefully we'll get that done this week. We're starting to get all these mounts cut off the frame. We pretty much want to grind this completely flat so those frame plates, wherever they are over there, can go flush up on there. And they're gonna go from like right about here all the way to here, just smooth and flat. Yeah, I gotta get these brake lines and some of this wiring out of the way to get the tops of these and the top of the shock mount, top of that bracket. But I've already got under here cut up, all the way up to here, all pretty much cut up as much as I can with the plasma. I might come through and hit some of this with the plasma cutter and maybe some of this in here, so I have a lot less grinding to do. Here on the passenger side, it's a lot easier because there's like literally nothing on the frame except for this brake line, but just tuck that up and you're good to go. But yeah, we're gonna clean all the shit off this frame and get it all looking like that, all bare metal. I've got a couple tools for that. I'll show you as I go, but yeah, we're gonna get everything from right there all the way back to get prepped and then weld all that on. Here's the frame plate right here. I'll show you this. I don't know if I can do that with one hand, but it sits up on there. You just weld it on. Makes the frame a little bit stronger, makes it easier to mount things to for when I want to do bumps and straps and all that eventually. After that, it should be pretty easy to get everything in. The frame plates, they've just got like little spots on the frame they index off of, and this little groove right here sits up into that. So indexing the frame plate should be pretty easy. Getting the shock towers on is super easy because it's got little tabs right here that the shock towers go into. And then after that, it's just throwing the cross member on. That bolts up where that cross member is right there, and then hanging links, and then adjusting everything, putting the coilovers in, and then we're good to go. So I'm gonna be staying late here tonight and getting as much done as I possibly can. I'm not gonna make y'all watch the rest of this because it's just cutting and grinding, and you know, if you're following along at home, it's easy. Just cut, grind, take your time. Don't cut any wires, don't cut any brake lines. Pretty simple process to do. Yeah, I'll show you once it's all smooth and before I get the frame plates on. All right, I'll pick this up whenever we get all this grinded out all smooth and ready to get the frame plates on. We got the frame plates tacked on. They're all, or not tacked on, they're clamped on. About to be tacked on. And yeah, we're just gonna tack every 6 inches around this frame plate. All you really gotta do to center these is find this steering box hole, center it in there, and then make sure everything's even all around it. Yeah, this side's ready to be tacked on. The other side I got a little bit of cleaning to do, but I might as well tack this one on real quick and get it where it needs to be, get it burned in, ready to go. So yeah, I'm gonna get the welder out right now, get this thing out and ready. I'm pretty much gonna start on this side so I can get this clamp off and just keep clamping harder over here. Make sure everything's in place exactly where it needs to be. Frame plates are tacked on. I'm gonna test fit the shock towers, make sure they fit very well, and then yeah, we'll burn this in all the way. Yep, these shock towers are gonna fit. So yeah, let's get this frame plate burned in and then get the shock tower on and the track bar bracket. All right, so I was getting this side burned in, got a couple welds on there. I ended up running out of welding gas, and so yeah, this one's completely empty, and that one over there is also completely empty. So I'm gonna have to go back home, switch out the gases in the morning, and then get picked up tomorrow, which sucks because I wanted to get this done today, but yeah, shit happens. So, oh well, it's 4:40, they close at 5. I'm not gonna make it in time. All right, so I'll pick this back up tomorrow. All right, it's the next day, we're back. Got a fresh bottle. Got a fresh hood. I was there for a little longer than I wanted to be, so I was looking at the hoods and couldn't pass this one up. This has been the shop hood for so long, and you can see that lens is just cooked. So, figured pick up a new one. I'm gonna have this one for a while. Got some new lenses with it. But yeah, we're gonna get to going. We got everything tacked in yesterday. Just gonna continue welding on this side. I'm gonna jump between sides so I don't warp anything and go from side to side. But yeah, I'm gonna hit a couple welds here, hit a couple welds on the other side, and then we'll be ready to put on the shock towers. This side's starting to get hot. My podcast ended like right here on that weld. So I was in my own thoughts for the rest of that. That's not fun. All right, now we gotta switch to the other side. So here's this side, weld it all the way around, the whole thing. So yeah, these two tabs right here are gonna locate the shock towers. So yeah, I'm gonna get them tacked on right now because this side's ready to go. And once I get these tacked on, I'll finish up the other side and then tack the other side on. I've got the track bar bracket and the shock tower welded on. Got some of the welds cleaned up. And so, yeah, my phone's almost out of storage, so I'm just gonna burn these in, burn them in on the other side. You ain't gonna be missing much. I got all cleaned up, got the axle under the truck, and I'm starting to hang links. Moving this axle by myself is kind of a pain in the ass, but we got the first link going through. I gotta figure out how to lift the axle up to get that link on there. And then I'll put on the other side lower link and then the uppers. And then after that, we'll jack up the axle because it'll kind of be stationary because of the links, and throw in the shock and throw in the track bar. And then we'll figure out our steering. Alright, that's both lower links on. So now we gotta pull the axle this way, put the links actually all the way on. I had some help getting the axle in place so I could get the radius arms on. Got the lowers on and the uppers, and then I ended up throwing the shocks in. And then now I'm working on the drag link here. The drag link's kind of being a pain because I can't swing the radius arm far enough this way without hitting that jack stand. I'm just gonna keep trying to wiggle the axle into place and yeah, get this thing on. Oh my God. She is on her own weight, riding on the kings. All I gotta do now is tighten everything up. That doesn't even have a nut on it. Gotta tighten everything up and then put the steering in place. It doesn't have brakes on it right now, so I gotta put the brakes on and bleed the brakes. Yeah, bleed the brakes, put the steering in, and she's good to go. Just gotta take out that drive shaft too. But I just wanted to see what it looks like on its own weight. And there it is. Time for the finishing touches. Let's fast run this. I'm getting these brakes on. Don't worry about the rust. That'll come off in the first 20 feet of driving. Also, I'm ordering big brakes for this, so I don't really care. I just want to drive it right now. We're just gonna send it with this and hope it works. New WFO 48-inch brake lines. It's gonna go behind the shock tower here. It's gonna connect to this brake line over here. But for now, it's gonna go right there. Leave it hanging. And I'll make another video whenever I replace all the parts that are still stock Super Duty. Like these Ford hubs. We're probably gonna throw worn locking hubs in it. We're gonna do an air locker eventually. The kit took a lot out of my bank account, so we're just gonna slowly do it as we go. Oh, that's piston fluid, that's nice. Banjo bolt, crush washers, plug the hole. You don't want to over tighten it, but you want to make sure you're not leaking anything out of it. Ugh, I got brake fluid on my lips. All right, so the WFO brake line just comes from behind the shock tower, up and around, and then attaches to the stock brake line right here. This is the ABS line. It pigtails onto the factory ABS on the Duramax, which I don't know where that plug is. It's somewhere up here. I'll find it. I don't have one on the other side right now. Whoever I got these axles from just snipped it instead of unplugging it, but just on one side, because this one has a plug. Yeah, this is probably gonna be entertaining, but I'm gonna try to get this without leaking fluid absolutely everywhere. This side actually went a lot smoother than the other side did. I should have filmed that side, but I didn't. But yeah, brake lines ran. Just got to bleed the brakes and throw in the ABS sensor pigtail, and this thing should be good to go. All right, got the ABS pigtail. Just gonna literally just plugs in from the Ford side and then take it. I'm gonna go around the shock tower for this too, just so everything's running together and clean. And I'm just gonna take this and plug it into here, like so. And that's just gonna tuck back up into there. And we're gonna zip tie those together so it looks nice and clean. And this side's done. All right, here's what we got going on with the steering. We've got the WFO drag link right there. We got the stock tie rod. And then I went to Napa, picked up a new link, or end link for that drag link. So we've got the axle centered. I am still gonna take this thing to get in alignment just cause I'm not sure exactly what I'm doing. So yeah, we'll figure that out. But for now, everything's pretty much where it needs to be. All that's left to do is take off that drive shaft, bleed the brakes, and then it should be good to go. But yeah, so let's get these wheels and tires back on. She's back up on her own weight. If anyone's wondering what tires I've got going on, I've got a Vision bead lock. I don't remember exactly what it is. I'll pop that up on the screen now. I've got 37, 13, 5, 17 Toyo MTs. Highly recommend. But yeah, 2-inch spacers in the front. I gotta get some spacers for the rear to even it out. But yeah, it looks like these are gonna clear, no problem. I am worried about the width getting it off the lip, but other than that, I don't think we're gonna have any problem with this. So yeah, let's get the brakes bled and also the resi mounts on. Here it is all done. It's a little bit higher in the front than I want it to be, so I'll probably adjust that eventually. I just want to make sure the coils aren't going to set down anymore. Yeah, got to get a 3-inch spacer for the back just to keep it out more, just like the front is. Because right now we got about half the tire poking out in the front and the back's tucking. And so I want that to be as even as possible, so I'm going to measure and then split the difference, and that's how big the spacer is going to be. All right, that's it for this video, but in the next one, we're going to be testing this thing. After I get a front drive shaft in it, we're gonna be buttoning up little stuff, wiring in some more lights, probably a couple other things as well. Depends on what all I order. But yeah, that's it for this one, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Subscribe down below, all that, I'm out of here.